During 70 BC is a very important historical event has occurred between Roman Empire and Jewish population in Jerusalem. After a Jewish riot has occurred in Jerusalem, the Roman Empire Titus started a conquest to Jerusalem. At this conquest and lots of Jewish people slain and killed by the Rome. The conquest and all decisions of Titus had political reasons, which is the desire of Titus, that established his own authority in the east side of his empire. Religious differences that causes conflicts and these events had social consequences on both Roman Emperor and Jewish people.
Let's look at the political effects of the war. One of the main reasons lying beneath the conquest was political reasons. The Roman Emperor Titus wanted to establish his authority at the east side of his empire, which is also known as Judea. In the previous conquest, the Roman Empire Titus captured very strong cities like Tarcheia and Gamala. However, this didn't mean that the conquest of Judea had finished. If emperor wants to establish his authority in the east, he had to capture Jerusalem too. But Emperor Titus needed a casus belli for this new conquest. Meanwhile, a riot has occurred in Jerusalem by the Jewish people. This was the casus belli that Emperor Titus seek. Suetonius transferred this by saying, "The emperor seeing, however, turned back to visit the oracle of Venus at Paphos to consult it about his voyage, and there heard his own prospects of wearing the purple mentioned again." This was the last step to make everyone acknowledge his new conquest. Emperor Titus spilled too much blood in order to achieve his goal, and finally captured the whole Judea including Jerusalem. He killed thousands of Jewish people after he captured the city. Interestingly, these slayings gave him a great authority. Suetonius says, such passionate devotion aroused a suspicion that he planned to revolt from his father and make himself king in the east. By the way, the ruling class of Jerusalem, which is composed of Jewish people, lost all his authority in the east side of Roman Empire. The historian Martin Goodman says, the ruling class of the Judea lost all his power against both Rome and to their own people after the Roman siege. The Jewish war became a very important reason for Emperor Titus to have his authority in all along his empire. He became the king of both West and East after this war.
Let's look at the religious effects of the war. Roman comments about Jews were rarely hostile before the outbreak of war in 66. Roman attitudes to Jews were undoubtedly affected by the presence of a large number of Jews within the capital city itself. According to Suetonius, Emperor Titus visited the oracle of Venus at Paphos to consult it about his voyage, and there heard his own prospects of wearing the people mentioned again. His hopes were soon confirmed, and he was left to complete the conquest of Judea. There was a temple which called the Second Temple. This temple was significantly important for Jewish population. After the siege of Jerusalem, the Second Temple destroyed by Roman legion. Soldiers carried spoils from the temple, including the menorah, which is the seven lamp, ancient Hebrew lampstand made of pure gold and used in the portable sanctuaries set up by Moses in the wilderness and later in the temple in Jerusalem. The elements of Judaism that had their base in the temple divided significantly, including the priesthood and the Sadducees, which was a group of Jews that were active before destruction of the Second Temple. This event was a tragedy for Jewish history.
Let's look at the social effects of the war.
First Romans and Jewish war, known as one of the bloodiest wars in history. A myriad of people died in this war, and after a Jewish rebellion, Jerusalem affected a myriad of different angles. The most important effect on the social life and the society. Before the war, a lot of ethnic groups lived with together, and this situation causes different problems among them these groups. These groups are Greeks, Romans, and Jewish people. They already have conflict between each other on account of religion, and this situation was starting point of this rebellion, and their social life changed intensively. After the rebellion, Romans are totally destroyed the city and Jewish temple. Therefore, Romans have conquered the city for every area, such as religion and society. As a result of these problems, many people suffer from not living their religion in a peaceful manner, and this situation causes intensive ethnic discrimination in Jerusalem. Therefore, this situation disrupts fair social life between Romans, Greeks, and Jewish people.
According to Josephus, that the hills around the city deforested. After a 4-month siege, Roman legions finally broke through the first wall in the city. Zealots rushed to meet and fought against the legions. They couldn't prevent Romans from fighting their way to heart of the city temple. Houses are perished, civilians are brutally killed. The destruction of the second temple in the year 70 was the great catastrophe and trauma to happen the Jewish people. It was center of the religious life. Ruins of the priests and their rituals was lost forever. After the siege, the Emperor Titus finally achieved his goal, wished to conquer Judea and establish his authority on the east side of the empire. The Jewish religion affected seriously by losing many of its people and losing their holy city. Socially, the Jewish people left their homeland, and this created a social degeneration.